All right, let's jump into this first story from timcast.com. Tulsi Gabbard quits Democratic Party citing wokeness and anti-white racism, calls the party existential threat to America, and urges other party members to join her. That's the gist of the story. She gave a speech saying, nonetheless, I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party. It's now under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers driven by cowardly wokeness who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism, who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms enshrined in our Constitution, and who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police, who protect criminals at the expense of the law. Well, that's good news as far as I'm concerned, but I do think she should have come out and stated this a long time ago.
Absolutely, right? I mean, finally, welcome to the nightmare that the overwhelming majority of us have been living for quite some time, probably on steroids since 2016. So, I don't know, a little too late, I don't know, but I do believe that it is indicative of what will happen to the Democrat Party. I think more and more you would see a lot of people, sane, reasonable people, who are waking up to the reality of how the left has taken over the Democrat Party.
This is one of the craziest things that I've been hearing a lot of behind the scenes. Something's been happening recently where people are snapping and there's like mass red pilling going on. I'm hearing stories of from friends, and this is not like celebrities or famous people, just like, hey, my friend was all of a sudden one day just came to me and said that, what's going on with war? What's going on with World War III? Joe Biden's doing all of this. And people are going from in the dark to red pill just very, very quickly. And I wonder if a lot of it is when the news says nuclear war may be coming, you start to pay attention. And then when you do, you go, hey, wait a minute, this Biden guy's actually really bad.
I don't know if it's nuclear war. I think it's gas prices. I think it's food shortages.
That's a good point.
I think it's those things. For a lot of people, I live in a very woke, quote unquote, kind of area right outside of Philadelphia, the third largest county in the state of Pennsylvania, the second wealthiest county in the state of Pennsylvania. These people are very woke. But however, when you look at a lot of these people are beginning to take that red pill, that they're watching what happened to their children. I think education is going to be a really big issue for a lot of those suburban moms.
I was thinking that COVID, the lockdowns or the shutdowns rather, and then the riots that didn't have much of a military response or police response was kind of an opening. But I think you're right that it's gas prices.
I think it's gas prices.
Yeah, I think, my perspective is like, why would a young person, and then, obviously the war that's probably my personal bias. You bring up gas prices and I'm like, oh yeah, you're probably right. Some minimum wage skateboarder guy who's trying to get enough gas mustered up to go to the skate park is probably saying, what the is going on? Yeah. And then he's looking it up and being like, why did Biden shut down the Keystone Pipeline? Now you got to pay to guess.
I personally think it's the Great Reset. I personally think it's the Build Back Better agenda, which coalesces into all of these things when it comes to not only actively being a warmonger, but also destroying the economy, which I think is being done deliberately here. But to go back into this topic, it does seem like the Democratic establishment party is a sinking ship. They're expected to lose a lot of seats in this upcoming election. And if we remember, Tulsi Gabbard, she was seen as a rising star a few years ago, until she questioned the Syrian war, until she actually said, hey, maybe we shouldn't be warmongers, maybe we shouldn't do regime change, maybe we shouldn't be financing ISIS and Al-Qaeda inside of the Middle East and launching a war on terror, which of course is being financed by our own money. And when she pushed back against a lot of the war policies, that's when the bigger attacks against her happened by her own party.